So my name is Daniel Steinberg, and I'm going to talk to you about email marketing, specifically email automation. But first I want to give you a little bit of an inside scoop about what happens if you're ever asked to speak at one of these things. So here's what happens. So first, Chase will send you, he'll have his virtual assistant send you a request for an outline. And you got to give an outline of your talk. And that's cool, that makes sense. And then Chase will ask you to go over your talk with you over the phone. And it's really awkward because you got to speak for like 10, 15 minutes, and he times you. There's no one in front of you, and there's no feedback, nothing, and you just talk for like 10 or 15 minutes. You hear yourself talk, and you get cotton mouth, and you feel like you're repeating yourself, and then you're like, thank you, and he goes, wow, that was great. That was really great. You're going to do great up there. Okay, got to go. So, while I was doing this, I was thinking to myself, I just didn't like the structure of my talk, so I'm going to throw it out the window. And I found about two weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I came across this structure by a guy named Dan Pink. You ever hear of Dan Pink? You know who Dan Pink is? He's a motivational speaker, talked a lot about sales and stuff. So Dan Pink has this 2.5-minute talk, and he says it's called How to Pitch like a Pixar movie studio. And it's a short little structure, and I thought that it might be a more engaging, more fun structure to go over what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So the way it works is like this. Who's a movie fan over here? Who considers himself like a real movie buff? Okay? You collect your movie tickets, and you see all the movies, like when they first come out. Okay. So what's the last movie you saw? Sir? So many movies. Okay. All right. You know what? Let's pick Star Wars, because we used Star Wars before. Scott was talking about Star Wars. Okay. So here's the way it works. Once upon a time, there was a blank. You fill in the blank. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a galaxy far, far. Well, usually this pertains to the protagonist, the hero. So once upon a time, there was a guy named Luke Skywalker, and every day, blank would do the following. Okay, every day Luke would do whatever he does, until one day. This is step 3. Until one day, what happened? What happened? Star Wars? It's been that long? One day, like there's a bomb or something, and his aunt and uncle get killed, and he finds out that he's really part of the rebel force, and so that's step 3. One day, and because of that, he does. What does he do? He gets in the Millennium Falcon, and until finally he blows up the Death Star. Everybody lives happily ever after. Something like that. Okay, so those are the 5 steps, and that's kind of what I'm going to go through here. I started in e-commerce. I'm really a newbie. I mean, I've only been doing this since June of 2017. And September 25th, 2 days ago, a year and 2 days ago of 2017, is when I started email marketing. And since I started doing my email marketing for 2 clients, one's in the fashion space, and one's in chocolate. He sells chocolate and nuts online. I've made them $1.1 million, and most of that has been between September and June. So I got lucky. I got to meet some great clients that knew what they were doing with Facebook ads, and they put me on email marketing, and I learned really quick what to do. So I'm going to explain to you my story. Once upon a time, I was a marketer, digital marketer. I was okay at Facebook ads, not the best, not the worst. I could typically get a 2-to-1 return on Facebook ads. If I plunked down $1, I could get 2 back. Okay? So I was doing that for maybe a year or so. My wife had an info product that she wanted to sell. We have a child with some special needs, and she learned how diet could help. So I taught myself how to do Facebook ads, how to market Facebook ads, and we marketed, targeting people who are interested in this type of info product. And for every $1 I put in, I got $2 back. That was an info product. Now, here I am. I'm working in chocolate and nuts, okay? Doing the same thing, okay? So this was, we spent about, I don't know, maybe $150 a day in a typical month. We spent about $4,000 and brought back nearly $8,000, okay? Not bad, 2 to 1, consistently over the course of a given month. That was who I am, what I was doing every day until one day I got a letter from the person that I was doing marketing for. He said, here's a profit and loss statement online. Okay, the figure on the very bottom is the loss we experienced for about a month and a half. We were negative $107.80. For all the money we were pouring into Facebook and the 2 to 1 return, we were losing money. I know we are trying to stop the bleeding with what you're doing on the site on Facebook and transitioning to email. Essentially, we are paying out to acquire new customers for online sales. We need to transition as soon as possible to a net profit so we can cover more than just the Facebook ads. We have salaries, overhead to cover, and then start profiting. That was a blow. You know, I thought I was doing great. You know, you plunk down $1, you get $2 back, and here we are losing money. Now, why were we losing money? So, the difference between an info product, there's no cost of goods. You just produce it once, and then there's no shipping, there's nothing to it. But with goods, whether you're selling a product or whatever type of thing you're doing, there's overhead. He was only making, his average order value was $30, okay? He was only making $12 out of that 30. He had a 60% overhead. So here's what would happen. So I don't have a math slide, but picture this. I plunk down $15, get a sale for $30, that's 2 to 1 return. It cost him $18 to fulfill that sale. He only gets $12 out of that $30. So he's losing $3 every single sale. It's terrible. It's not a way to sustain a business. So that was step 2. Let's advance to step 3. So here's what we did. We put a pop-up on the website, okay? We decided we're going to send out some free samples, and we captured their email address. Now, if you're not doing this, I'm hoping you are, but if you're not doing this, here's what the equivalent is. Let's say you had a brick-and-mortar store, and you're paying people to come to the store. You're standing outside the store, handing out, like, let's say $5 bills to get them to come to the store. They walk in, some of them buy, and the ones that don't walk out, and you just let them go, and you never speak to them again. It's wasted money. It's wasted ad spend. That's what it is. So if you have a way to capture people's email addresses, so then once you've already paid for them, you can continue marketing to them over and over and over and over until they unsubscribe or buy. And it works. It really does work. So we got to work capturing all the email addresses of people that would visit the store. And it was a lot of fun. We were sending out really pretty looking emails. You know what this is? Anybody can guess what this is? What does it look like to you? Yeah, it's nuts. But if you didn't know, what would you think? Everybody thinks it's chicken. Chicken or shrimp. All right? And we were doing some really pretty emails. This one is a favorite of mine. This one brought back, when I look at this email, like I want to hang this as a poster in my room. This one email was sent out the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, less than a year ago. It brought back $27,000. A single email. And as you can tell, I lived through all the Hallmark holidays this year. This was Christmas time, and then we did another one for Valentine's Day. All these were created using a program called Canva. Extremely simple. You just switch out templates, put in your own logos. I'm sure this service called Canva, it's free. I'm sure it's put a lot of graphic designers out of work. and it's got me to bone up my skills. Okay, so this is all what's called in the email marketing jargon as campaigns. These are manual sends. So what would happen is the person would put their email address into that little pop-up you saw before. This is for my fashion client. And then we would collect all the email addresses, and then once or twice a week, and especially on the holidays, we would email them out sales campaign ideas. It's great. It works. As you can see, that one before, it got $27,000. But it's manual. It takes work. Someone's got to set it up. So where are we? Step 3? Until one day. And because of that, we started doing something called email automation, okay? You're looking at a 4-month screenshot from September to about January. This is called, in the email service that I use is called Klaviyo, okay? These are called flows. Flows mean that the email address flows into your account, and then the email flows out to the email recipient. And it's triggered by a specific action. There's all sorts of different actions that can trigger it. This one was a welcome series flow. So what would happen is there would be a pop-up on the site and it would say, hey, here's 10% off your first order, 15% off your first order, okay? And then immediately it shoots them an email, okay? As you can see, this has brought in close to $100,000 in 4 months. I had to go back and take a look at what the email said. I couldn't even remember what it said. That's how automated it is. It's 100% automated. All you have to do is just make sure that, you know, the inventory's still in stock, the coupon code is still working, but once you set it up, it's like a garden. As long as traffic is coming in, it just grows and grows and grows by itself. And you don't have to do anything. And we wouldn't have had a penny of this if we hadn't set up the email automation. All we would have gotten was the revenue of the people that bought from the Facebook ads. And as you know, 2 to 1 doesn't always cut it. So the beauty of email marketing, what that does is that, and especially the email automation, is it takes the burden off your ad spend. You don't have to make 3, 4, 5, 6 times for every dollar that you put into Facebook in order to be profitable. Facebook will take care of some of it, and the other part, email will provide. Now, very briefly, I just want to go through some of the most typical email flows, email automated sends that there are in the industry. Now, this one happens to be a thank you email. Okay, this is a relatively new one that I just set up for someone, and don't pay attention to the numbers because it's only about 30 days old, but what I want to show you is the open rates. 57%, 48%, 73%. I don't even think I opened 73% of my friends' emails, right? What this is this is an email that goes out. It's triggered. It's automatically triggered. You set it up in advance. And what happens is that when they buy something, they get an email that says details regarding your order. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hand someone some money for something and then have information about that, I'm very interested in that. And that's why you see these big open rates. You take advantage of that opportunity to say, hey, did you see something that you liked that you just didn't decide to buy? Let us treat you. Here's a coupon for $10 or something like that. And you take advantage of these insane open rates and you clean up. I don't have the screenshot for the other store, but that was one of the biggest revenue streams was the new or repeat customer thank you. You can customize it. So when someone has bought from you a second time, the email that they get is a little bit warmer, a little bit more personable than the first customer email that they get. You have a welcome series. This can be, each one of these can be, I mean, I've heard of companies doing 30 long email sequences when someone signs up on their website, okay? You have to know how to space it out. You don't want to send them 30 emails every single, in a row. But you can send them after they bought something. You can ask them for a product review, and you can offer them a coupon in there. You can cross-sell. You could say, people who bought this often buy this too, okay? That's a nice moneymaker. Repeat customer thank you. Abandoned cart. Abandoned cart is probably the biggest loss of revenue for a store. Often it has to do with shipping. So if you throw in someone abandons their cart, you throw in a coupon for free shipping or something like that. You'll recoup that revenue. Browse abandonment is when it's a little bit warmer, a little bit earlier than an abandoned cart. They actually hadn't put something in their cart, but they just looked at it. That also is a way to trigger an email and get some revenue that way. Customer win-backs, you have 30, 60, 90 days since someone's last bought something. You send them a little incentive to buy something. These things that you're looking at, they're all autopilot. I set this up August 21st. Okay, in the whole month, the store did $121,500. Email accounted for 15,000 of it, 14,500. The industry standard is that email you should attribute 20 to 30% of your revenue from email, especially with Black Friday, all these big holidays coming up. If you're not doing this, it's literally the metaphor that I was giving you is you're just handing out money to people to come to the store and then just saying goodbye to them when they walk away. So I had a lot of difficulty. It's very easy to buy into this, but the technical details of how to set this up, and I'm not talking about actually like how to use the software or anything. In terms of what to put in an email, how often to send it, what types of flows to set up. And Klaviyo is great at this. You don't have to use Klaviyo. You can use MailChimp. You could even use Gmail if you wanted to. You'd have to do it manually. But the point is that it's. I struggled with this. This was something that was very difficult for me. I spent a lot of time trying to really kind of hone in on it, zero in on it. And there's a guy, raise your hand if you've heard of Ezra Firestone. Okay, so Ezra Firestone, I had the luxury of my client, he bought this like $10,000 course from Ezra Firestone. And Ezra goes through, he's a huge proponent of Klaviyo, and big name in e-commerce. He built a couple empires. And he goes through every single type of flow and all the content and the subject lines. He has these like cheat files and everything you need to put in an email. And I had the luxury of not having to pay for it, and I got the IP, the intellectual property. Where's Scott? Did he book? Oh, there he is. Okay, so let's advance. So what I did was I made an infographic of all of Ezra's IP. And I didn't attribute it to him, but it seriously took me a very long time to encapsulate exactly what he does. But I've nailed it in 4 different infographics. If you send me an email, I'll send them to you. For example, in the pre-purchase, before someone actually buys something from your store, they are just shopping, okay? There's an abandoned cart, which is, he has a 7-email long series. Exit intent, let's say someone's looking and they want to, you ever get those pop-ups where you're about to leave the page and something pops up and says, hey, don't leave yet, we'll give you this, okay? An 8-email long sequence of that. Browse abandon, if someone, again, takes a look at something on your site, didn't actually put it in their cart. 7-email long series. Welcome series. Over here, with all my notes, I itemized how often to send them, intermittently, what you would offer. He's very, very conservative on offering discounts. He does not offer large discounts. The most is like 10 or 15%, sometimes even never. Okay, and I have in this infographic, you'll send me an email, I'll send it to you, all of the content to put in these specific emails. Post-purchase, after someone's bought something from you, look at this, 8 different types of flows. Okay, how many each email flow would be? How long to send them in between, and last but not least, what to put in there. So those are my 5 steps. That's what's made me made my clients $1.1 million in email revenue over the last 9 months, maybe. It works. The stuff really, really works. The original title of my talk was, if you're not using email automated marketing, let me grab you by the shirt and just throw you against the wall and choke you. Because this stuff works. It really, really, really works. And the best part of it is that $1.1 million, 50% of it was all on autopilot. I mean, it had to be set up, but once it's set up, all you have to focus now is traffic to your store. Just get traffic to your store, Get your 2-to-1 return on Facebook ads, which is very moderate, but it's decent, and then let email take over the rest. Okay? Thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions.